It's been a long time since I made one of these. No thanks to COVID. So, I heard a rumor from a few guys and even from some of my subscribers that Goodwill hasn't been putting out nearly as many games lately, instead selling them online on their Goodwill auction type thing, which is apparently very similar to that of eBay, I guess. So, that sucks, but maybe that's just a thing in some areas, at least hopefully. Regardless, let's press on to see if that myth holds any truth. Well, there's definitely games being sold here, but problem is, this location raised the hell out of their prices. Back when I first started making these videos, games were tagged only $2 each. Now they're up to $5 to $8? I don't know what that's about. Regardless, $8 each is outrageous for a thrift store. Age of Wonders 2 was fun to come across though. I used to play that game all the time back in junior high along with Stronghold Crusader, but man, I wouldn't pay $8 for that game nowadays. I wonder if it's been released on Steam. I'll have to check that out at some point. This kind of caught me off guard. It's one of those stands for a PS4 Slim that has an intercooler and 2 controller charging ports. Now, I had thought this was an online-only type deal and not sold in stores. Believe it or not, I actually own one of these myself, and I got it off Amazon about a year ago. It works totally fine, it's not fancy at all, and don't really use the intercooler fan thing much, but it at least charges the controllers well and keeps the PlayStation in place. I know, I shouldn't even be thinking about buying another tank. I can't help it. Every time I come across one, I can't help but think about it. A few years ago, I made a custom tank for a crested gecko, and it turned out fantastic. I'd love to do one of these again, even if it's just a planted tank without any reptiles or whatever inside, but I don't have the patience or space for that at the moment. When I came across this Hot Wheels game for the Wii, I was instantly brought back into the old days of playing the Hot Wheels games on the N64 with my friends from school. It's a shame the disc on this one was completely tore up. It even had marks on the disc that looked like someone had been scraping it with like a ballpoint pen, and that's just lovely. Here's a video I took at a garage sale. They had some games and the original Xbox, but man, everything was so expensive. They wanted $75 for that old Xbox, and it didn't include any games. I don't care how many controllers you throw in. I would never pay $75 for an Xbox unless it came with like 30 games. $75 for just the system and a few controllers is outrageously high. It's probably the highest I've seen in quite a few years, honestly. Well, no games here, but I did come across the first 4 seasons of Hetalia, including the Paint It White movie. My fiance and I actually really enjoy the show, and they're only charging $2 per season, so I'd be crazy if I didn't pick it up. And the funny thing is, when I brought these up to the cashier, she asked me what they were, and I just said, DVDs. She said, no, they're not. These look like VHS tapes to me, and then proceeded to charge me 49 cents per season. So I paid, what, $2.50 for 4 seasons and a movie? It doesn't really get any better than that. We ended up at another garage sale, and somehow we came across these really cool Nintendo prints that the seller, I guess, lacquered onto wood picture frames or something. I'm sure these prints are available online on like eBay or Amazon, whatever, but regardless, I thought these were so cool. The seller wanted $10 for each picture, and I asked, well, how much would you take for everything? And I only ended up paying $50. I wasn't expecting her to offer such a low price for everything whatsoever, but I'm not mad. These are really neat looking and would look awesome in my game room. Some are a little bit faded. I think they were displayed in sunlight a little too long. I don't care. I think they're really cool anyway. I don't know how common these stores are. This is a shop called Half Price Books. Every location is different in terms of what they have and how they price things. This location has a ton of games from all consoles, however the prices are really high on their games. $8 for Mag, $6 for an old Madden. I mean, this shop is right next to a GameStop and a disc replay, and they only want a few bucks for like the same games. I don't know where they come up with the prices, but they're very bizarre to me. That being said, when they do put their games on clearance, the prices tend to be very cheap, usually ranging from $1 a game to, at most I saw, I think $4. It just depends on if you are interested in anything they put out. Great games here like Borderlands 2, Bad Company 2, and honestly, I really like Warfighter, even if no one else did. I'll tell you what though, the Medal of Honor Warfighter community, when they were at their peak in terms of activity, the players were some of the most friendliest, chill people I have ever come across and had the pleasure of playing with, at least on console. I thought the gameplay was totally fine, and I know I'm in the minority. I had fun with the game. Yes, it has its flaws, and yes, it's unpolished to a degree. Regardless, I don't really understand the hatred for it. They also surprisingly had a bunch of various anime volumes, movies, and even seasons on clearance for cheap. Natsuyuki Rendezvous I have on Blu-ray, but man, this is such a great anime. Kind of an obscure one, but I love it. It tugs at the heartstrings a little bit if you don't mind that sort of thing, as it does get very depressing at points. They also had this anime, Tawano Kwan. I'm not sure what this is, honestly. I've seen it around for quite a while, and I've always wanted to watch it. I just never really got a chance to. I figure it's $4 instead of 15. Why not? Worst case scenario, I wasted a few bucks. Not a big deal. Now, this Goodwill had some Wii games. Nothing really jumping out at me all that much, except for that Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now, I know what you're all probably thinking. I'd be crazy to not buy this, correct? Well, you see, the disc had a fair amount of deep scratches, and it was missing its bonus disc. I think I could have probably had it resurfaced, and it would have been totally fine. But I have this game on the PlayStation, and honestly, I'm not really that big of a fan of it. Now, having said that, if it had its bonus disc, I would have probably bought it since it would have been worth a hell of a lot of money, but I'm not exactly kicking myself over this. Disney Universe. If I recall, this is kind of a difficult game to come across. It's $2, and unlike a lot of the previous games I've come across lately, this disc is in excellent shape. I don't know anything about this game as far as if it's good or not. Not that that even matters, because I'm going to buy it anyway. Maybe it's worth something. I have no idea. After grabbing tattoo supplies for my fiance, we hit our usual pawn shop and saw that the current gen games are still tagged for $10 a pop. I ended up snagging quite a few titles, and the employee cut me a little bit of a break in the end. There was a lot of great stuff here. I did pass on Samurai Showdown only because I play my Xbox One maybe a couple times a year. I still wish I would have grabbed it. Oh well, it is what it is. I also went to GameStop about a month ago when they were having that buy two, get two free on all pre-owned games under $20. And, you know, I try to avoid GameStop as much as I possibly can, but the sale definitely made it worth it. I also ended up grabbing Indivisible. I love the demo and absolutely love the artist involved in the game. And if I'm correct, this game was on Kickstarter at one point, and I believe it raised quite a lot of money. And in my opinion, I think they did a phenomenal job on this game. It is gorgeous. I love the music. It's tons of fun, and it's actually fairly cheap nowadays. We went to a store called Ollie's and came across this Fallout 76 Collector's Survival Guide for $5. Apparently, this used to cost $50 for whatever reason, and Fallout 76 was a massive flop from what I understand, but man, this book looked really cool, even as a collector's piece. I'm into it. I don't think I'll ever play the game. I really haven't liked any Fallout game after New Vegas, honestly. 4 wasn't exactly bad, but I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me for whatever reason. For $5, I'm okay with this. My fiance found this huge Assassin's Creed visual history book for $8. The tag says it was originally $60. If that's true, then holy shit, this is expensive. She and I love the art style of Assassin's Creed, so we both thought that this would be really cool to have. Again, if nothing else, this makes for a nice collector's piece. Maybe she can take some inspiration from the artwork and do her own thing with it. Who knows? So, this is possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. A Star Wars cookbook. The second version, apparently, with Darth Malt and other galactic recipes? Come on now. Just have a look at this masterpiece. Sith Speeder Sunrise with Darth Maul sitting on a piece of cantaloupe. Because why not? You got your forceful frittata, some delicious Darth Maul dip, pickled Jar Jar, and the best thing ever, Darth Double Dogs. The bun is in between 2 foot-long hot dogs. That's... Words cannot describe how amazing this is. Seriously, how could you not want such a relic of a cookbook? Better question is, how did I not buy this? It even had a cake mold on the back in the shape of Darth Maul's face. If I ever had one regret in life, it'd be not buying this. The greatest cookbook of our generation. And with that, this is going to do it for today's video, everyone. As far as Goodwill hiding or pulling games to be sold online and that whole myth type deal, I think it might be true. I'm still finding games. However, the number of games I'm even coming into contact with has declined over the past year or so. Maybe what's happening is that the games are being put online, and then when they don't sell, they throw them on the shelves? Who knows? I hope you guys don't mind that I included footage from other places, but thing is, I really couldn't find that much at the thrift stores alone. Even anything of interest, I just couldn't find nothing this time around. And I didn't want the video to suffer in the end. With that, everyone, of course, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and as always, take care.